Hey, good afternoon, good morning, and fellow greetings to all my fellow followers and anybody that happens to come across my channel. I want to appreciate you guys for coming through, and as you guys can see, got a haircut. We're doing a little better, all right? So let's get this video started. Today we're going to talk about ways that I've made money and experiences that I have. So we're going to get into it. We're gonna separate this video into two categories, which is gonna start off with simple ways to get money and more complicated ways that I've experienced. So this is just honestly, if you're younger or even older, my blueprint so far as a 24-year-old man, especially for you, of my future children or nephews or whoever watching this. We're going to give you a little more in detail of my experiences and what I know of certain jobs. So first things first, to make money, and is just get a job, right? And when I say get a job, you can get a whole various of jobs, but I'm gonna start off with fast food. I haven't necessarily worked at McDonald's or anything like that, but I did work in a bakery. And if my best advice, if you work in a food or a fast food place, my best advice for you is to go the tip route. So if you become a waiter or work at a restaurant, so on, work for a place that serves food, but you can get tips. When you get tips for giving food, you get a lot of money. I mean, it is give or take some days, right? Some days will be better than others. But if you want to maximize your return on money, what you want to do is definitely go for tipped work. And work, especially if you have very good customer service skills. Like if you're able to talk to people and you're good at it, it's better to go on and, be a waiter or go tip work. So now I want to talk about retail. Retail, I've worked 2 retail jobs in my life, and I will say retail is very exhausting. My best advice for you if you do retail is to definitely try to move up in the ranks. Not something I recommend unless you really like it, but retail will give you a minimum wage. You can get good money there, especially like in places. There's certain places that'll give you overtime. There's certain places that'll talk to you and actually train you within. Especially if you decide to stick it out and work it out, you'll be fine. You're gonna have to deal with a lot of customers, folding clothes. I mean, it's technically not a very difficult job. It's just very tedious, and it's not something that I 100% recommend for everyone. So this option right here is going to be for my little country fellows or anybody that lives in more rural places. You can actually start this job as soon as you're 14 years old, which is farming. Legally, I believe it's 14 or 13, depending on the state you're in. Farming, they could pay you up to minimum wage or a little lower, which is $12. But if you're 14 working farms, it is a very good skill because obviously you learn how to maintain yourself and how to cook, all that other stuff. But the biggest thing is you can work at young. It's you can work that real young. So it's kind of goes into those little entrepreneurial spirits where you could make lemonade stand, stuff like that. But the first job, it's not bad because you can save up, and by the time you're 16, you work a different job. I mean, you can actually buy a car. So for my road guys, that's the way to go. Do not try to be low farming for too long. That will mess up your body. Another avenue would definitely be, because they hire anybody, especially for my immigrant fellows that you can do supermarkets. Supermarkets are really good if you work on them because it's not too difficult. You just stock the shelves, keep everything together, but just as long as you're willing to carry stuff. I'm not 100% sure if they still give a lot of overtime, but the supermarket I worked at in New York City, they did give a lot of overtime, and that's where you get your money at. If I could suggest something, is to work, and if you can, is to work when the store's closed. Just stocking, oh, that shit is amazing. You can play music all day, have your headphones in, and just relax. A big one that I actually was a part of before I came out here to Minnesota to be Carmen was the gig economy. Lyft, Uber, Uber Eats. This actually takes a little more work because you need a phone. It's pretty simple for a lot of us to say that, but some people don't have a phone that's activated. So what I did was Uber Eats, and the thing about the reason I did Uber Eats, you don't need a bike, you don't need a car, you can do it walking. And if this is more for my people that live in a city, so if you live in a city where there's like a real close like downtown center and it's real urban, and you can walk through building, that's the way to go. I averaged about $100 after like 5 hours of work. That's with tips and everything. There's gonna be some days there's gonna be less, some days there's gonna be more. But I will say that the gig economy can work for a lot of people. It's definitely better when people aren't doing it. I will say the gig economy is really good when it's cold outside, because nobody wants to go pick up food. But when it's warmer, it's a little slower because people do it more. So as long as other people aren't doing it, you should have a better, place. Like if you're in a place where there's a lot of Uber riders, you're not gonna get the best Uber rate stars. But if you're in a place that you got few Uber or Lyft or so on, any other ride share programs, you should be fine. Landscaping is really, really good because landscaping is usually just a flat rate. So you can charge for a yard like $50, and however fast you get it done, you get it done. If you get really good at it, you can actually finish landscaping pretty fast. You can cut grass pretty fast. I mean, landscaping goes from cutting grass to, geometrically making it look nice, to spray painting, whatever you want to do. Definitely get with a company, so you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. And shit, man, they'll pay you minimum wage, but simple. A lot of it is riding around doing stuff. And if you're young, and especially if you need the money, like a little weekend side job or something, hey man, it's good money. You can make money all day. They're always gonna pay you because there's always work to do. The hotter seasons is definitely summer. Those are the times to do landscaping. And if you do that, you can probably be working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. But it all really depends on how much you want it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really go get it. It's gonna be long days. You're probably not gonna eat lunch till 10 hours in, and it's all about how much money you want because it's there. So right now I'm gonna still be in the simple ways to make money, but this is more simple but more complicated ways. And this is actually my favorite way to get money, and which is becoming a lifeguard. I loved being a lifeguard. Being a lifeguard is one of the most relaxing jobs, one of the best entry jobs ever. And I will say, it's technically not entry because you need to be able to swim and have a CPR license, but it's not that difficult. You could get those for free in certain programs, or even pay $250. Get another job and work on doing that. You can go to school, like in New York City, they had a lot of programs to do that for free. Maybe in your local area is different. But being a lifeguard usually pays higher than minimum wage, and you're honestly just chilling and swimming all day and just talking to girls, and it's not bad. Or if you're a girl, a lot of guys talk to you, you know what I'm saying? So you can always, be a lifeguard. It's something I really, really recommend. I will say, do not fall into the trap of being a lifeguard, because the one trap of being a lifeguard is staying there for too long. A lot of people stay being a lifeguard for years because you get paid good enough in certain jobs. Like me, per se, back in 2016, I was getting paid enough that I could earn an apartment, but I was never going to be super well off financially. So there's people that stay in that trap and stay till they're 30 years old to be a lifeguard. Something that I've had to do, I'm not too big on it, but also does pay more than minimum wage usually, is entry-level construction. Moving blocks, taking out garbage, all that other good stuff. So this is something that you can do if you really have to. I'd rather you take the lifeguard route, but if you really have to do this route and get some money, it's also better for landscaping. But if it's winter, sometimes you're gonna have to do construction, entry level. The thing about entry level construction is that you can move up. There's a whole bunch of ways to do it, and there's as much work as you want sometimes. Now, that being said, you need to be careful with getting injured. So try not to get injured. So now we're heading to the more complicated ways of making money, and we're actually moving up to tax brackets here. The more complicated routes that I've learned through my life of making money is I'll start off with one everyone knows, get a degree. But if you get a degree, you need to get a STEM field degree. So science, technology, economics, or mechanical. And I'm pretty sure I butchered that M1. I'm pretty sure it's something different, but I believe it's mechanical. And the reason I say that is because if you do anything else, it's so saturated. People go for easy degrees so much that it's not really worth a thing anymore. But if you go for one of those STEM fields, you can vary from 50K a year to 200K a year. It's up to you. Just do your research on that. Something that I can always recommend, especially for my peoples that come from very bad places, is definitely the military. If you don't have the money to pay for school or you don't have the money to do anything else, I don't recommend the military for everybody. It's not. If you have a good upbringing and you have good stuff, fine. You shouldn't go. But if your parents aren't really around and they aren't really supporting you and shit like that, definitely the military is a way for you. Don't go into the fields. My best advice is don't go into the fields of like combat. I did that and it's good because I wanted to, unless you really want to. But if you're looking for benefits from the military and you're looking for a paycheck and to get promoted faster, go into field, like talk to your recruiter, go into fields, that aren't, combat related, more like, office work and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of jobs in the military that you can get, and you can get promoted super fast within, work on a lot of stuff, knowledge, all that, and you'll be all right. You'll get out with some money, and everywhere I go, they actually really like the fact that I'm a veteran. They actually choose me over a lot of college graduates for the simple fact that they know I can work and I'm willing to work and I can do stuff and I have more discipline than other people. But a lot of the stuff that you can get from the military are definitely more on the poke side, which is people other than grunts. Grunts are combat or infantry. So yeah, if you don't want to, which you can do in any company, but wherever you go in, entry level or not, you can always strive to become a manager to make more money. I actually just put in my application to become a manager for Canadian Pacific. As realistically, I like my job, but I can get called in at whatever time and I have to show up. And it's just a quality of life thing. Once you become a manager, you are the person calling the worker to show up. You're not the guy showing up, So it's just simple things. And yeah. My final one would be going to trade school. This might change in a few years. But as of right now, if you're watching this video in right now, like 2023 March, I definitely suggest going into the trades. The reason I suggest for that is because these past 3 generations have been told that trades are on the way. And if trades are on the way for you, if we've been told that trades are on the way and there's a lot of money to be made in these trades, it is only going higher because there's less and less people to work these trades because nobody wants to do them. I know plumbing, nobody wants to do. If you go to plumbing, you can get an insane amount of money. I'm talking about $100 just to walk in and check it out. And I know plumbers that make $60 to $70 an hour. Now the work might be a little more spotty for plumbers, but there's also electricians, and electricians can make $40 to $50 an hour. But with electricians and plumbers, you also need to go through the apprenticeship phase where you're getting, I think it's 18 to 20 bucks an hour. But that's only lasts a year or two, and then if you're young and you do that, you can finish technical school or like trade school in about a year, and you'll be just fine. My way to go is definitely welding. I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm a welder, but I got a job being a carman, and so far we just got a raise being $40 an hour, which is pretty good, man. I can't complain. We have benefits, all this and the third. It's just all about looking for those jobs and being able to relocate. My final and biggest advice for you is to be willing to relocate, okay? A lot of the things in my life that bettered me were because of relocation. I was willing to go to school. I'm from New York, and I was willing to go to school in Vermont in a free program called Job Corps. Job Corps is kind of shitty. It's not the best thing, but it is free and it will help you. And give you a trade for free instead of being in a little bit of debt. When I say a little bit, I mean $20,000 to $30,000 in debt in trade school. So you can go into Job Corps, get a free trade and all that other stuff. I mean, it's taxpayer paid. I mean, they pay you like a little $50 stipend and stuff like that. Something very small, but it keeps you just fine. And if you have no other route to make money, you can do that. But definitely be able to willing to relocate. If you're willing to relocate, the whole world is open to you. So for me, I took this job all the way out here in Minnesota because there wasn't jobs like this in New York, and there wasn't jobs like this anywhere near New York. But at the same time, the taxes are lower, so my living expenses are lower, so I live better. It's also better for you as a person to go and explore new places, just for the simple fact that you're gonna be better, you're gonna learn new experiences, you're gonna learn new things, you're gonna be by yourself, and you're gonna make it, and nobody can take that away from you. So I love all of you, and I hope that everything is fine. You guys take care.